Hey again, Husker Nation. I'm Jessica Cootie and excited to introduce you to another one of the new assistant coaches here added to the Nebraska football coaching staff, Lonnie Teasley, the run game coordinator, familiar with Coach Roll and Jeep Wade, but welcome to Lincoln. How has the first couple weeks or so been for you?
It's been great. Just getting to know the guys around here and learn my way around Lincoln. It's been really good.
You're obviously familiar with Coach Roll, coach on his staff at Temple, but when the opportunity, the potential to maybe come here to Nebraska, how did that unfold and why was that of interest for you?
One, just Nebraska says it all. I've always, from a young age, looked up to Nebraska like it was football. And then Coach Roll's been here. He's been like a mentor to me over the years, and he had a position here, and we kind of see football the same way and how it should be done and how it should be played. So it's a no-brainer for me.
What is that way?
I know when I say that, I'm talking the play style. You know, just the violence you want to play with and discipline you want to play with.
So you're a longtime offensive lineman, played offensive line. So when you talk about Nebraska and the pipeline here, what was your perspective of how that dominance is played at Nebraska, you know, back in the 90s and along?
Yeah, so that's what I really think about Nebraska is the O-lines. And it was going back to when I grew up in New Jersey, and Will Shields used to do a camp out in New Jersey. And I remember going to that and when I was, I think, in ninth grade. And I looked up to him as a player, and then that's why I went to the camp. And I just, like, now I'm here at the same school he, you know, was a member of the pipeline, and so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cool. So joining Jeep Wade as well as also new to the staff, what's your familiarity with him, and how well are you guys getting along?
I know Jeep over 10 years. We see football the same way as well. Me and him would talk in the off seasons in the past about football. We'd talk about recruiting, and so it's going to be really fun to get the chance to work with him now.
What is it about Coach Wade that he is so good at what he does coaching the offensive line?
One, he has standards of how you're going to play, and our play style, and then just getting, football can be complex, but he makes it simple for the guys.
When you guys go about trying to figure out how you attack it together, what does that look like? Is that something that conversation will continue to maybe unfold as you guys move into spring ball?
Yeah, I think it starts with Coach Rule and Coach Holgerson, and we'll continue to grow on that as it goes.
What's the importance to have really two guys that are able to work? We heard some of the offensive linemen talking about how nice it is to have so many voices kind of helping them. And when you have some young talent that you're trying to develop, what's the importance of having that?
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. Like when you got young offensive linemen, you need to make sure they're building that foundational base so they can have success and continue to grow and develop. And then you look at how the NFL does it. It's always two line guys in there, it's just you got 20 guys in the room. Like it's good to be able to always have guys who can put their hands on them, and in the off season, during the season, I think it just helps their overall development.
You've been right in the middle of practices. I've been to a couple and see you're right there in the middle of everything. You stayed after to get some extra work in with guys. What's been your perspective of how this program practices and their preparation so far?
Yeah, there were some physical practices, which I expected. The guys want to work. They want to get extra work. They want to come meet extra. So that's been a pleasure.
What is your perspective on the O-line room as a whole and some of the potential talent in there?
I think we have a really good room. Even like the seniors who are leaving, it's been good to get to know them. Wish I would have had a chance to be around them longer. But we got some really good, talented young guys, and I think those guys are their arrows pointed up.
Development is obviously very important for the offensive line. So what are the biggest factors in being good at developing that talent on the offensive line to get those guys to where you need them to be able to compete for championships?
Yeah, so I think it starts with like their knowledge, and that's like our offense and them learning defense. They have to have a good foundation there. They have to know who and how to block, understand how to block people with leverage. And then once that's kind of like the big foundation, then you build on that from there. And then I think the weight room plays a big part into it. these guys, 18-year-old guys playing against 24, sometimes 24-year-olds, and so they have to develop that area where what we're asking them they can go do, and that's a work ethic, so that's a part of it, and then they got to build their skill set, so they got to understand what we're asking and with the techniques. They got to come in and watch themselves do them, and then make those corrections. We make those corrections, go do it again, try it, fix it, go do it again. So I think that's what goes into it. And then obviously, them buying into the mindset of how we're going to play.
How about Coach Holgerson? How's it been getting to know him?
Good. He's just one, like, seeing him, like, I always watched him from afar, so it's like I'm seeing him on TV or something. Like, now I see him in person.
When you talk about being the run game coordinator, what goes into being able to continue to run the ball very well, especially in the Big Ten?
Well, one, it always starts up front. We gotta be good up front. We gotta set the tone there. Just watching the games last year, they got really good backs. But it's really all 11. It's all 11 being on the same page. But it starts with the O-line, but it's the tight ends, the running backs, the receivers play a big part. The receivers block really well here. It's the quarterback and the alerts and everything. So it's the whole team, whole offense rather.
Recruiting, and Coach Rule has really bragged on you and how good you are on that front, and the best assistants are your best recruiters. When did you realize and recognize that needed to be a really important part of your job as an assistant football coach?
Yeah, I remember when I was at Temple, Coach Rule said if you can't recruit, you won't have a job. So it kind of stuck with me. And then, like, for me, it's relationships. So, like, it's when you build those relationships with the young men and those families and who are the people that are close to them, and then you just go from there. I think it boils down to that. It's like, if their caregivers or whoever they're close to can trust that you're going to have their son's interests and take care of them and do what you said you're going to do, usually they will hand their son over to you to be their role model, mentor for those 4 or 5 years you have them. I think it's being relatable, someone that the guys trust you and they can confide in you. They don't have to be, I always call it, don't yes coach me. Like, some guys just always uptight, yes coach, yes coach, yes coach. But, like, just being like, let's have real conversations, like, like being open. So, that's some of the things. It's just regular relationships and being authentic. I think it's helped me. And then just the evaluation piece, knowing what we want here and going to find that. What
are some of those traits and characteristics you look for in young offensive linemen?
You always want hungry offensive linemen. You want guys who are eager to be great, who love football. You want them to have a certain temperament on the field. And then from there it goes to what I think of like the genetics, how big are they, how much do they weigh, how much weight can they put on, their play strength, and then overall athleticism.
What led you to want to get into this profession in the first place?
I was wrapping up, finishing playing. I knew I wasn't playing at the next level, and I knew I wanted to stay in football. I just didn't know in what aspect. And I had some coaches who I looked up to, who helped me along the way. And I called some of them, and one of them was on staff. 2 of them were on staff, and they said you'll make a great coach. So I just trusted them, and they can help me get my foot in the door. And I wanted to help young men the way people have helped me along my journey, and so that's what led me into it.
I noticed you have a in particular coach that really inspired you in high school, right? Mm-hmm. On your Twitter, on your X.
Oh, yes.
You have a pinned tweet that was an ode to him, right?
Yes. So that was my O-line coach, Nelson Hayspell. I always say I had 2 dads. I was blessed to have 2 dads. He was like my second dad. And my dad was pretty stern. He was very stern too. And so he was a blessing to me. Like I still remember when he told me I was just playing football for fun. I thought I was going to go to military or something, and he said, "No, you're going to get a scholarship." And him believing in me made me believe I could do it. And so I want to help young men like that and the way he helped me.
No, that's great. Who are some of your other coaching mentors?
I got a few. This guy, Nick Calcutta, he was one of my O-line coaches, OCs. Keith Gaither, he's a running back coach at Virginia. Kevin Downing, he's at Virginia as well. They coached me. That's too many to name. I don't want to leave anybody off. Somebody's mad at me, man. I got a lot of people I call on, but
That's good
yeah,
problem to have.
Yeah.
When you you'd spent some time with Coach Roll, which he had the turnaround at Temple, he did it at Baylor. It just has proven that it works.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about his process that it works?
I think he sets the standards and he doesn't change them. And he, demands we're going to do things a certain way. And I think that's huge, that he doesn't waver. And he knows there's a process to it. I think he's great at setting a vision of what's going to happen and going to work for it. The guys that when I was around them, they love playing for him. They like being around them. You want guys who want to be here and come to work every day. And I think he's a great coach too. As far as the X's and O's part. But I think him just setting the standards and what we're going to be about here, and then just placing his vision on that.
Daughters who are just so happen to be into volleyball. You're coming to a good spot for that.
Yeah, they're really excited about that. They got a chance to catch a couple games once they found out I was coming here, so they're really excited.
Well, great stuff. Again, welcome to Lincoln. We're excited to have you, and thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you.